Now, what would you say is the ugliest part of dealing with creatives that nobody warns you about?
You can't have genius without a balance of madness. And if you are a creative who needs to make money from your creative endeavors, you will most likely lack. So when it comes to the business aspect of things, they struggle because they don't see that it also requires structure. Is it difficult for women who are successful to
Find love.
Yes.
To settle down.
Yeah, it's already hard.
Do you think men are naturally intimidated by, successful women? Hello and welcome to Afrorated with Motunde, brought to you by Cleaques. My name is Motunde Shogule and I am your host. Afrorated is the one-stop shop for news, entertainment, and cultural gist tailored for the global diaspora, with a mix of investigative journalism and the energy of a talk show. We break down real-life stories, trends, and realities shaping our culture, unfiltered, authentic, and always locked in the truth. First in this segment, and as usual, we're going to be heading straight to the most juicy, hottest, and trendy news and gist around the world. Some you've heard, some you haven't. I regret leaving Germany. While people who had jackpot back in the country were going on a wave and trends about home being home, there is Ella, 21-year-old, who had gone from relocating from Ukraine to Hungary to Germany and finally back to Nigeria. She laments bitterly on the painful realization of how much it has changed while you are away, and you have also changed too much to simply go back. Reverse Japa sounds simple, my people, but it isn't so. Joining us in the studio today is the creative strategist and project manager behind Bloom in Full Effect. Operating across Lagos and Baltimore, she builds the systems that helps creatives scale and monetize without losing their soul. She's quietly building something massive, and she's just getting started. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Blossom Amaka. Woo, 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 woo. Drum rolls. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, I'm
you look
doing
really
well.
pretty.
Thank you. You do too.
Oh my God, I'm blushing. Okay, so I'm going to really ask a lot of questions because, I really want to dig into a different world.
Let's get into it.
But before we do that, of course, you've heard some of, what's been happening in Lagos. Some you've heard, some you've not, like I always say. But I'm going to ask you about two that I feel like you're going to relate properly with. So let's talk about this. I regret leaving Germany. The whole jackpot, people moving, but coming back to Lagos, it's a different thing. Come back to Nigeria, it's a different thing. What do you think about moving, coming back, what people think about, the whole thing?
It's all a lie, guys. It's all a lie. Stay where you are, okay? I mean, for me personally, I left when I was 5. I didn't really have a choice, right?
Okay.
But
You left where?
I've left Nigeria when I was 5.
Okay.
But, I mean, I've actively come back since then. And since being here, I've had several different friends who have either come to visit and have been, so enthralled by their experience that they want to come back, or friends who are still there who are looking to come back. I mean, I came back at a time, I came back in 2022. I think that was like peak Japa season, right?
Okay.
So I know a lot of people who have left since then. And I mean, it's nice to go and explore the world and, see what is out there. But babes, there's no place like home.
Home
really
is
and
home.
truly, yeah. And I also feel like, truthfully, this is my idea. I don't think our parents that left sometime between like the 90s and maybe like 2010 left on their own accord. They didn't leave because they hated Nigeria, right? I think there's a strong sense of patriotism in every Nigerian. But they left looking for better horizons. So that's
greener pastures.
Yeah, so that not necessarily greener pastures, because like if I saw greener pastures, I would go and not come back, right? I think they left to, more specifically make money to help themselves, help their families, not even help themselves, because a lot of them didn't take care of themselves while they were out there.
It was mostly for the family.
Yeah, take care of their family, immediate and, here in Nige. And in the midst of doing that, we're people, they meet each other, they fall in love, have children. And at that point, it gets a lot more difficult for you to come back. And since then, they kind of just lose sight of those things. And then they're now raising families, raising children who now have a more appealing worldview. And I think that it's our job as first gen, second gen immigrants, essentially, to take the skills that we've learned abroad, whether it's school, trade, whatever you've done, and bring it back to the country that so desperately needs it, right? And it cannot be done, in my opinion, with the gap that already exists. I think the best way for Nigeria to move forward is to bridge the gap between the diaspora and those on the continent.
So,
not just Nigeria, but Africa as a whole.
Blossom. You're literally already answered most of the questions that I have for you today, but I'm still gonna ask. I'm gonna twist them.
Okay.
So let's just go straight into you. Let's talk about blooming full effect.
Okay.
So tell us about it.
You said it. Oh, massive. Don't worry, we're getting there.
So tell us about it, your experience operating a brand across 2 different borders, in this case, Lagos and Baltimore.
Yeah. Okay, so truthfully, right, the idea for Bloom in Full Effect it's taking a while to bloom. I'm not going to lie to you. But at the conception of it, this goes back into what we were just talking about. So I moved back because for me, I hadn't lived in Nigeria or spent enough time here as an adult to have my own thoughts and experiences of what my home country is, right? So that was the main reason that I initially moved back. But with that, I knew within myself this actually came from some time that I spent in Ghana and also seeing some other African countries, right? I think a lot of the times when we see other Africans or other people who are immigrants, right, they see solutions within the countries that they currently preside, right? And they think that they can take those solutions and immediately replicate it back to their home country. And, I traveled to Ghana and I did Dirty December in Ghana 2019.
Okay.
And I saw a bunch of different people, a bunch of different, establishments, brands, companies that, that were basically brought to Ghana from people in the diaspora. And I thought it was a great idea. Obviously, it feels like innovation, but under the scenes, you see that it actually caused a lot of displacement for Ghanaians living in Ghana who have only ever lived in Ghana, right? No shade, but when I went to Ghana, I saw different brands and businesses that I was just like, there are so many things that our countries need. We don't need a random cupcake boutique. Do you get? It was so I was like, okay, cute, but we have other pressing matters to address. So with that, I knew coming to Nigeria, I did not want to come with the business in mind. I wanted to come, see where the gaps are and how I could use the things that I've learned, my specialties, my thoughts, my creativity to fill those gaps. So I got here in 2022 and my name is Blossom, Bloom in Full Effect. It just comes naturally, right? And after I did corporate for my first year. Then I got into the creative space, met a bunch of creative people. And then from there, I just saw what the gap was within the creative space. And for me, the gaps that I saw was that Nigerians like to gatekeep. Lagosians like to gatekeep like mad, right? And I saw that a lot of people were bringing me jobs and roles and things that I could easily do, but it did not make sense for me to do the job of 4 people. Whereas if those roles are coming to me, I can actually spread those, opportunities, right? So from how I see it, I'm in the center. The people who are giving me these opportunities are essentially above me. And then there are people, for lack of a better word, who are below me that aren't immediately having access to these things. So it didn't make sense for me to try to hoard it because of money, whereas we can actually spread these things and kind of open the door to gatekeeping. So from there, That's kind of where Bloom and Full Effect came about. But naturally, I'm a project manager. Naturally, I'm a strategist. And I also saw that creatives want to do the creative things. And they should have the space to do the creative things. So if there are people like me who can balance the structure as well as the creativity, then why don't I just stay behind the scenes, do the things that are required behind the scenes, the business-like things, and then give the creatives the space and the opportunity to just create. So with those two things in mind, it just made sense to bring them together to essentially create structure for creatives who are naturally chaotic, right? And also spread the opportunities as they come. So Bloom and Full Effect does exactly that. We're a project management and creative consultancy that helps brands, businesses, individuals, and businesses, you know, structure the things behind the scenes, as well as, you know, helping them find creatives who can fill whatever creative service they're looking for, and also help creatives get opportunities, but also connect with other creatives. So it sounds like a lot, but I mean, it's quite simple.
Well, well detailed, actually.
Yeah.
Like, well detailed. It was well thought of.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like something you did step by step. You didn't just jump
Thank
into
God.
it. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask now, as a woman who's trying to create communities, how do you draw the line between access and personal boundaries?
It's not an intentional thing, right?
Okay.
I think naturally with the type of person that I am, I want people to feel close. I think that's the main thing about community, which is so interesting because it's something that I'm learning more about in this new season, in the sense that there have always been people around. I've always, you know, had a pretty good time getting close to people and also making people feel comfortable. But what I'm learning in this season is that community requires vulnerability. So I understand that the people around me, in a sense, can feel close to me, but sometimes I actually struggle with feeling close to people. So I'm learning to be more vulnerable. And with that, I think naturally it came that boundaries were set without it having to be something that was like immediately communicated or something that would come off like in my body language as we're, you know, speaking or anything like that. So, I mean, what I'm saying is I think it's very, like it's something that happened naturally and kind of subconsciously rather than having to put my foot down and say, oh, you won't do this. Yeah, you won't do that.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
But it's important, though. It's very important. And some people have to learn how to do that. I just thank God that, you know,
you have it.
That wasn't my ministry.
Naturally.
Yeah.
All right, love it. Okay, so now let's talk about a stereotype. You know, there's this thing about women who are successful. It's always very hard to stay in a relationship, you know, because they might not respect or whatever it is. So do you think it's hard for successful women to settle down in relationships? What's your take on that?
How much time do we have?
All the time.
Do I think it's hard? I feel like being a woman is hard, regardless, right?
Okay.
Not to say being a man ain't hard, but I don't know what that's like, right? But is it difficult for women who are successful to
find love?
Yes.
To settle down.
Yeah, it's already hard. It's already hard. And then, you know, men have their egos. Men have Nigerian men are that. Oh, chim.
She's very specific.
Wow, sorry. I had to remember where I was. I mean, wow. You know, yeah, it's hard, right? It's not only is it hard, but like being a woman requires tact in so many different ways, in so many different circumstances, in so many different rooms and avenues and everything of that such, right? Now, imagine having or lacking tact, but then also needing to navigate a relationship, because a relationship requires you to not just think for yourself or about yourself, but a whole nother individual that you can't know what they're thinking unless they communicate it to you, right? Like, obviously over time, what's it called? Like spending time with someone, you get to understand the things that aren't that don't need to be communicated, and fall into a pattern. But you got to get to that point first. That's the point. That's a relationship, right? So the early stages are already so difficult because you're trying to present as whatever you're looking to present as, and then having to navigate those things. It is difficult, but it gets done. There are women who do it. Shout out to them. More power to them. And we thank God. I think always just lead with love. That's all I could tell you, okay? You got it. You got it.
Okay, so let me just draw from what you're saying. Basically, a woman, it's hard being a woman. She has a lot to even think about, not to even talk about. So you're trying to say, if we now find... Okay, let me just say, do you think men are naturally intimidated by, successful women?
They shall have to get past their intimidation of being subordinate to other men first. Yeah.
She said it.
Yeah. So I actually saw a video about a study that was done. Don't ask me who did it. Don't ask me when it was done. Just know, go look it up, right?
Okay.
Some white man somewhere studied baboons, some monkeys for 30 years, okay? And apparently within them 30 years, he did a couple different studies on these monkeys. Cool. Now, one of the studies that he did was essentially how testosterone within these monkeys speak on and inform how they relate with one another, specifically in male monkeys, right? So what he saw was that there was an unspoken hierarchy between the male monkeys. And I'm saying monkeys because I don't remember what type, whether they're baboons or whatever.
Yeah,
but yes, so basically there was a hierarchy. So there was like the top level, the middle, and then the lower level. So obviously within the hierarchy, they kind of like engaged with one another across vertically.
Okay.
Horizontally. Then when it came to the vertical relationships, right? The men at the top, if they toiled with the men right below them, right? What the men right below them would do would take that energy and anger and then now use it against the people below them rather than to fight upwards. Now think about that, right? I'm going somewhere. Don't worry. Walk with me. Now, think about how that informs how you now engage with your partner, which will most likely be a woman, right? So if essentially what is being said here is that testosterone you're not bucking up to go and fight the man who picked on you first. You're taking it back to the people who you view have less power as you, whether within a spoken or unspoken hierarchy. So now that's within the males, how they relate to one another. What now happens when he goes and meets his girlfriend later at night? So are men intimidated by women who are successful? Men are intimidated by things that are already bigger and better than them based on what they pursue. So if you feel like your girl got more money than you, I guess the shoe fits. Yeah.
Deep. Okay, so let's just branch a little away from, but I like how she's been, dissecting everything, she's putting it on the table, she's spreading it across. Love it. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about, creatives. Now, what would you say is the ugliest part of dealing with creatives that nobody warned you about? Nobody warned you.
Just one?
Okay, let's say two.
Okay.
Let's do two.
All right, so they don't listen. They don't listen.
You guys
right?
don't listen.
They don't listen. And it's not a problem because, honestly, one thing I've learned about creativity or people who are inherently geniuses within their specific field is that you can't have genius without a balance of madness, right? So with that being said, right, if you have brought me on board to your team for me to help you, and I'm telling you to do something, why wouldn't you do it? For what reason? You get? Like, they don't listen in the sense that I'm here to help you. I understand that your creativity is, blooming and bursting, and you want to see your vision in full bloom. But like, calm down. There's a structure and there's a plan. There's a way to get there. And if I have sat here and spent my time trying to figure out the structure and this plan, I need you to just shut up for a little bit, listen, so we can get there. It's teamwork. So that's one.
Okay.
Two. Now I gotta pick another really good one. They don't know how to manage like business, and it's not like, the brain. With the brain, scientists, some of them scientists say that, your brain is divided into two. You have the left brain and you have the right brain, right? The left brain, I believe, is more creative, whereas the right brain is more analytic. And if you are a creative, your left brain is more dominant. And if you are a creative who needs to make money from your creative endeavors, you will most likely lack when it comes to the right brain, which involves math and structure, analytics, the whole nine. So when it comes to doing the business aspect of things so that you can make your creative endeavors sustainable and scalable to the point where you're not living commission to commission, paycheck to paycheck, they tend to struggle, right? And it's interesting because, like, as Nigerians, we're actually very, like, intelligent people, right? But, like, at the same time, you cannot discredit what is. Like, you cannot discredit facts. So in the sense that they struggle on that end, that's why you see a lot of creatives end up, like, that whole starving artist thing. It's a reason, like, it's valid because there's reason behind it. So when it comes to the business aspect of things, they struggle because they don't see that it also requires structure. So altogether, artists, creatives, whatever the case may be, right? There's a lack of understanding of the need behind structure and strategy. Okay. And it affects them in ways that I don't think they see.
You guys, my ears are like, oof. My head is like, oof. Like, I thank you so much. Like, all she said, she's answered again. She's very detailed, and I love it. I love it. Love it. Okay, now talking about what nobody warned you about traveling back home from abroad and how tedious it can sometimes be. Cleaques Booking now can handle your entire travel experience by allowing you to curate your itinerary to suit your preference. Travel should feel exciting, not exhausting. If you've ever wanted to explore Africa or the Caribbean, you already know the challenge trying to find authentic experiences, trusted local stays, and cultural activities that actually reflect the destination without getting stressed out or ripped off. What if I told you there's a better way? Cleaques Booking. We've completely removed the anxiety from travel. With Cleaques Booking, you can now browse and discover experiences exclusively from vetted and trusted vendors, booked cultural tours, local stays, and authentic experiences across Africa and the Caribbean, all from one trusted platform. And the best part, everything is backed by our secure and escrow-like payment structure. This means your money is truly protected and value is guaranteed. It is a simpler way to travel, connect, and experience culture more meaningfully. And because I want you to experience the good life, I personally hooked you up. Use my code to get 20% off your first booking. Stop overthinking your next trip. Download the Cleaques app on iOS or Play Store now and discover your next African or Caribbean experience on Cleaques Booking today. Welcome back. It's still Afrorated with Motunde, brought to you by Cleaques. We still have Blossom in the studio, and we've been having amazing, brilliant conversations. But we're going to take a little break from, all the seriousness, and we're going to have a little fun. In fact, we're going to have a lot of fun right now because we're going straight to the games, the game session. I'm sure you're not expecting that.
I wasn't.
I love it. But I have series of games, that's... And this is just, me also getting to know you. Also, people also getting to know
you. You want to get to know me?
Okay, so the first game is the change story.
Okay.
Okay, so I say one sentence, you add one sentence, and let's see,
Ooh.
how we form a story.
Okay, I like this.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So, a goat entered the bank.
And he had on red boots.
And then security looked at the red boots.
And shouted, away!
And then he actually just said, away, which kind of thing is this?
The goat stalked up to her and said, what was that?
And then the manager came to ask everybody to leave.
And the goat refused to leave.
And then the cashier brought his money.
And he was so happy because he didn't ask for any money.
And the girlfriend was outside waiting for the money. I think we really messed this up. This is actually... because what am I saying? Okay, all right, but that was actually fun.
Shout out
so
to the
let's
goat.
do another one.
Shout out to the goat.
Okay. So I was drinking alone in a bar when this handsome man walked up to me.
And as he walked up to you and sat down, he belched.
I was disgusted.
But also intrigued.
Because I'm like, what effrontery?
But I leaned in closer.
And I looked at his shoes.
And the shoes were purple.
And I looked at his face.
And his face was also purple.
And I'm like, what the?
That's it.
Okay, that was fun. That was actually fun. You guys should not steal our story idea. You don't steal it. Thank you so much, Blossom.
Okay,
all right, so now let's go back to you. Let's ask you more, personal questions.
All right.
Have you ever felt pressure to reject certain opportunities because of your values or faith just to stay relevant online?
Yeah, I mean, there comes a time where, you have to just decide on, like, what to do. I think we run into that, outside of work, within work. For me, yes, I have run into it a couple times, on a personal level. And also within work, I feel like, I know people love to say, this is Nigeria, but there are things that are very much like, this is Nigeria, right? And as a lady, of course you're going to run into that, right? And you have to stand firm. And it's real difficult. It's real difficult, especially if your back is against the wall and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, hey, do what makes you comfortable at the end of the day.
Love it. So let's talk about love. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about dating. Well, in 2026, people have different ideas of love. People have different translations of what love is. What do you think love is?
Love
and
is...
dating in 2026.
First of all,
I'm interested in this one.
For those who agree with me, love is Jesus. To begin, he is literally love. So let's start there.
Okay.
And I'll end it with, if you are not loving others the way Jesus loved... Let me start over. If you're not loving others the way Jesus instructed you to love, not yourself.
Your next one.
Not yourself. If you're not loving others the way Jesus Christ instructed you to love his church, I'm going to need you to take a step back. Not yourself, love his church. Because some people don't love themselves. And they now want to love other people the same way. No, that's not what he asked.
Can't work.
So let's go there. And then you now ask me about relationships. What kind of relationship?
Like relationship between... I mean, we can throw it out there between a man and a woman. Yeah, between, as God has said, since we're taking it to church, so.
What about relationships between women and men?
Whatever rocks your boat. But I'm just saying, like, what do you think of dating in 2026?
Oh, it's ghetto. It's real ghetto, right? It's real ghetto for so many reasons. Because my biggest pet peeve as of presently, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it.
Say it, please, with your full chest.
All you men that are wanting to be princesses, you feel me? Do you? But if you're expecting princess treatment from a woman in a relationship, I just need you to open a book. I don't know which book. I can't tell you which book. But I'm going to need you to just go back in history and just read. Like, read before you open your mouth to just say, wow. Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense now. It didn't make sense back then. And I don't know where that shift happened. Maybe during COVID times, there was a shake, there was a rattle. The devil must have come up with a new tactic to deceive his people. Because this new pandemic is rocking everybody. Okay? So let's go back and start reading and understand why these things that you guys are trying to implement will not work, cannot work, and are most likely demonic. Do you get me?
Okay. So, from the way you just said this, it was very expressive. I'm going to go for that. Do you want to share an experience that you just found very...
with princess men?
Anyone, like...
Because I don't do
talking
that.
about this whole dating thing.
I don't do that. That's not for me. But I say what I said specifically because, right? You know, I be thinking, right? And I have a brain and I use it. You feel me? I might not read, but I have this brain and I use it.
Okay.
And I just, there's a pandemic right now where you'll agree that the men want to be treated like princesses. And I just want to understand, like, imagine if your dad said he wanted to be treated like a princess. I don't know your dad. Your dad might not have been a great dad. But one thing's for sure, he not coming out of nowhere to talk about something he want to be a princess. Okay? And with that in mind, it just makes me question what is happening as of recently to make men want these things. And, I know how old I am. You know how old you are. We're probably not that far in age, whether it's Gen Z or millennial, zillennial, whatever the case may be. Whatever shift happened between millennial and Gen Z that brought about such a thing, do you get? There's some type of stimuli or phenomenon that people are responding to, and I specifically cannot pinpoint where it's coming from.
Okay.
Because let me land.
Okay.
So to be requesting these things at such an age as ripe as ours, how many men do you know have literally sown the seed to reap what they're asking for in the sense of being a princess? Like, you haven't done anything, but you want to be treated like a princess. Now, they'll say, okay, well, women haven't done anything to be treated like princesses. Y'all didn't let us. Y'all didn't want us to. Literally, historically, women weren't we were so disenfranchised and marginalized and literally kept from even making very simple decisions. So you cannot now come off the backs of the men who created these systems to now say that, women should now be the main ones doing X, Y, and Z so that you can now reap the benefits of what women have been sowing. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. I mean, I was going to try to defend the other gender, but let me not, because she's going to trash me. So no, you guys should defend yourselves.
But we love men, though.
We still love you. I mean, God said we should love you, so we love you.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about something else. Because I mean you've had the privilege to shuttle. They're here everywhere. So can you tell us why do many people think dating abroad feels more emotionally safe? It's safer than here in Nigeria. What has been your personal experience dating abroad, dating?
So to give my specific experience with that. Just based off of the fact that, like, I have dated abroad and here, the trauma is different, I think, right? Like, people are, like, physical embodiments of their experiences. And you cannot, compare your experience as someone who has only lived in Nigeria to someone who has only lived where I grew up in Baltimore. Right? And because of that, your response to things will always be different. And that's a great thing, because when those two people who have lived in two different places now meet, there's a chance to learn from one another, blend, all that cultural diffusion and all that good stuff, right? And I think dating here in Nige is people here find it difficult because it's what they know, right? I'm not to say that dating abroad isn't difficult, right? It just looks different. But I do, as someone who has dated both places, think it's a lot more difficult here because Nigerian men are traumatized. Y'all parents didn't love y'all, but it's okay. It didn't show.
Okay.
That's a different discussion, though.
All right. Thank you so much, Blossom. I'm going to go on a quick break. And when we come back, we still have lots more to ask Blossom. We'll be right back. There's so much football talent across Africa and the Caribbean, but the problem has never been talent, it's visibility. Too many amazing players are stuck posting random clips online, hoping the right person sees them. Cleaques is changing that. It's a football discovery platform built to connect players, scout clubs, referees, fans, and even brand all in one place. If you're a player, this is where you showcase your skills, build your football profile, join local gigs and competitions, and get discovered by scouts and clubs from around the world. No matter where you're playing from, your talent now has the opportunity to be seen globally. If you're a scout or club, you can discover raw talent without stress, random WhatsApp forwards, or unreliable connections. Clubs can also organize competitions, host local leagues, and connect directly with players and fans on the platform. If you're a fan, you get to discover rising stars before somebody else catches on. This is football, culture, community, and opportunity all connected together. Whether you're trying to get discovered, recruit talent, organize competitions, or stay connected to the future of football, Cleaques is where you need to be. Download Cleaques on the Google Play Store or Apple Store, or visit www.cleaques.com. Welcome back from the break. It's still Afrorated with Motunde, brought to you by Cleaques. I still have Blossom Amaka in the studio. We've had a very insightful one. She's been dissecting things, giving it to us little by little. But it's just very sad that we have come to the end of the show. You thought so, Abby? We actually have one last question for her. So, Blossom, based on your experience within and outside Nigeria as both a creator and a founder, if you were to restructure the creative industry, where would you start from and how would you go about it?
I think the first thing I would bust through is all that gatekeeping. It's actually quite unnecessary, and it hinders more than it actually helps. Right? And I think I would just make it a lot easier for opportunities to go across the lines, whether vertically, horizontally, or whatever the case may be. And this is not necessarily an industry thing. I think it's a Nigerian thing, but like all the snobbiness and the snobbiness that keeps people from collaborating and working with one another, if we can just like eradicate that, perish all of that. That would be really nice. But I mean, fairly unrealistic if we're being honest. And then lastly, just this idea of founderism. I'm founding of things. I don't like that word. One, I don't call myself a founder. Okay.
Bad. My bad.
It's okay. You didn't know. Just that idea. When I first got here, right, 2022, founder was probably the most used word I would hear. You would go meet somebody, hi, I'm a founder. But it just happened that in 22, every founder that you were meeting was in fintech. And I was like, what's the problem that we're trying to solve? How is everybody founding a fintech company and yet we still have banking issues? Yet we still have issues with banking systems. It's not making sense. Literally, if I met 10 people in a week, 7 of them were founders. And then 5 of them were fintech founders. It didn't make any sense, right? Luckily, that whole trend died down, but we still have a lot of founders. My issue across industries is that people are not thinking about collaboration, right? Instead of trying to collaborate and work with people who are already doing similar things, people want to go and start their own. It's not easy to start something, right? Not only is it not easy, but it would just actually be more helpful if you contributed to something that's already being built or just worked with someone else along the same lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys have overflogged the world founder for Blossom. Don't call her that. Thank you so much, Blossom. It's been, I wish I could use another word for insightful and fun-filled, listening to you talking. I had so much fun. And I'm very sure people at home, they would reach out and be like, oh, amazing. What? Amazing. Thank you so much for, honoring our invitation to come for the show. You're welcome. We have come to the end of the show. It is Afrorated with Motunde, brought to you by Cleaques. My name is Motunde. I am your host. Please make sure to subscribe, to download the Cleaques app on all your app stores, and make sure to subscribe. Until next time, love you.